What's going on? In today's video, you're gonna learn the exact advertising strategy that I use to test products consistently, predictably, and get them lined up to scale to over 100K a month in sales. This is exactly how I do it, how you can take it and use it in your own business and learn exactly how to test products the most efficient way possible. So without any further ado, let's jump on into it. All right, so let's take a look here. So just before we get into it, I wanna give you a little update on the store. Today so far, we're at $3,440 in sales, and on the month so far, the store is at 62 grand. And last month, we generated just over 118,000. So I want to be explaining this because these are the exact methods that I'm using currently right now, live, to generate these exact results and continuously test products that just add to the gross revenue overall. So let's jump right into the actual testing strategy. We're gonna go over a couple things today. We're gonna go over the actual setup itself. So I wanna explain a few things just as we get started with it before we jump into the ad account, where I'm gonna show you live how I would set up a campaign for a specific product so that you can see my thought process around everything. So the simplified testing structure for meta ads. Before we get into it, the key things to consider when testing is that one, you wanna know your numbers. And there's two main metrics, KPIs that I look at specifically when testing, and I'll go in more in depth on the actual metrics that you also want to keep an eye on. But the most important KPIs you want to be looking at are your break-even cost per purchase. So this is the amount that you can spend to acquire a customer and not lose money. So break even. Typically, it's your profit margin on a single unit. So if you're getting your product for $10 and you're selling it for $40, you have a $30 break-even cost per purchase. You also want to know your break-even ROAS, so your return on ad spend. So this is the lowest return on ads that you can dip down to before you go unprofitable. And I have a calculator that takes the numbers that you plug in, so you put in your cost of goods, what you're selling the product for, and it will spit out what your break-even and KPIs are going to look like. So if you want access to that calculator, comment down below calculator, and I'll send you that KPI calculator that I use to make sure that I know exactly, what my numbers are for each and every product that I test before I even start testing. Okay, so key factor number two, so we want to focus on important metrics only. And for those of you that know what metrics are, there's so many different metrics you can look at when you're looking at your ads manager. There's your click-through rate, your CPMs, your cost per click, your cost per add to cart, all these other crazy metrics that you can set up on your columns, but there's a set few that you need to be looking at when you're testing, specifically when you're testing. Now you can look at different things when you start scaling, but we're gonna go over the exact things that you need to focus on when testing. So your cost per click is the first thing that you're gonna be looking at. So good averages to look for are typically below a $2 cost per click in the United States. Now obviously the lower the better, but anything up over that is very bad. So you don't want anything above a $2 cost per click when you are testing your ads. And below a 50-cent cost per click when you're running worldwide or expanding on multiple locations outside of the United States. You want to also be looking at your add to cart or initiate checkout to make sure that your customers are actually showing buying intent with this product. An actual intent that they've looked at the product page, they like what they see enough to actually make a click in order to go to their cart page or their initiate checkout in their checkout page. So the next thing obviously are your purchases. You want to be keeping an eye on your purchases as they come in, and then your cost per purchase as well. So you want to understand what my break-even cost per purchase is, and then keep an eye on the cost per purchase as you are running your ads to make sure that you're not spending more than you can to acquire a customer and make a profit. And that's why it's really important to know your numbers when you're advertising. And then you want to look at your overall ROAS, make sure that you're at a profit, and that's it. Other metrics are irrelevant when testing. So there's no fluff here. There's no need to worry about your CPM or your click-through rate. And I can go in and debunk, all the things around these metrics more on our Discord channel if you want to join there, and we can talk about metrics as a whole. But these are the most important metrics that you need to look at, and the only metrics that you need to look at when you're testing. Now you can look at other metrics when you're scaling. That's a different ballgame. But when you're testing, you need to be laser focused on what you're looking at and know exactly how to make judgments based on that. Number three, your product will dictate your metrics and results. So this is the most important thing that I just want to print in your mind before you even get to testing, is that your product is the most important thing. If you have a bad product, you'll get bad metrics. You could have the worst product in the world, but the best advertisements. And if it's not a product that people actually look at and go, wow, I want to buy this, you're not going to get good metrics. if it's a crappy product overall, your metrics are going to be bad, and that's why your product will dictate your metrics and your results mostly. Do not get emotionally attached to your products ever. This is the biggest mistake I see, beginners make, is that they get emotionally attached to a product because they think it's going to work, or they think it fits all the criteria, and they set up everything properly, and they get emotionally attached to this product, and they don't give up on this product when the data is telling you to give up. You always want to make your decisions based on the data-driven decisions only. All right, so I've gone ahead now and set up a little graph or a little diagram to show you just an overview of what your campaign structure is going to look like when you're testing ads. So when we're testing a single product, what we're going to do is we're going to set up 2 different campaigns. One campaign targeting the United States only, one because it's the biggest market in the world, and typically it's where a majority of your sales are going to come from anyways. The second campaign that we're going to set up is a worldwide campaign, and there's a couple locations that we exclude from that are just low-tier countries or aren't going to bring us any good traffic to our store. But you're going to separate your product tests into these 2 campaigns, and then in each of these campaigns you're going to set up multiple different ad sets. So we're going to have 6 ad sets inside of our one campaign in both campaigns. So you're going to run a total of 12 ad sets, and in each ad set you're going to have 1 to 2 ad creatives max, and that's all you need when testing. And I'll go in and explain more in depth of what you want to look for and how you want to set up your ads, but you want to structure your campaigns this way overall, and I'm going to go into that when we jump into the actual ad account on why we set it up this way. But just to give you an overview, this is how we're setting it up. And in each of these ad sets we have, as you see in color here, a different interest separated by ad set. One single interest per ad set only. So that's the overall structure of your simple setup that you're going to use when testing every single product. All right, so now I want to get into the actual ad breakdown on your ad section of your ads manager. So inside the ad section, you're going to see once we go live into it, I'm going to show you exactly how I would set it up. But just to give you an overview, that with your ad creative, you're only going to use 1 to 2 images that effectively display your product or promote a perceived value. And I say images because with this strategy, we're using image ads. And for this example, we're using image ads. Now, if you're running a product that needs a video, needs explanation, needs showing how it's used, you're going to use a video. But for products in this example that we're testing with image ads, this is how we're going to set it up. And you're going to want to run creatives that have high quality images, good contrast, and catch attention. That's the most important piece with your image ads, is that you want to be using an image that captures that attention. And preferably you want to use lifestyle images, not a white background image. You want to choose something that is an image that shows the product being used where it would be used or in a setting that it would be. So it's all dependent on the product, but just something that shows it in the real world. And I'll give an example when we go in depth on it. Your ad copy, keep it really simple. You want it to be 1 to 2 sentences max, and then list potentially, you don't have to, but list 3 to 5 of its core benefits. I've talked about benefits in the offer in a later video, but you want to list those. So, whatever those main benefits that customer's going to get from that product, you can list them in your ad copy, but it's not 100% needed. One thing that is needed is that you want to put a call to action. And a call to action can be something as simple as just telling them what to do. So telling them to go and shop now. So that's all that you have to do. Keep it simple. Don't overuse emojis. You can use 1 or 2 here and there, but you don't want to go crazy with the emojis as it just kind of looks spammy. And then in your headline, this is where you're going to put a few different options. Preferably you want to use your offer. So if you're running some sort of offer that you're offering to your customers, you want to put that in the headline. If you're not, you can always put a core benefit, and then lastly you can put like a product name or some sort. But typically you want to run your offer or the core benefit. I stay away from putting the product name as it's pretty irrelevant, because your creative will show exactly what that product is anyways. In the description, normally you just leave this blank and let Facebook populate it. It's not really important, and typically it only shows up on Facebook feeds and other placements that it doesn't really show. So buttons, you want to use shop now. That's typically what works best, so just stick with that. And then you want to use your tracking UTMs right away from day one. So typically people don't use UTMs, they don't know where their tracking is coming from, and then they use some sort of the tracking software, and they have to re-put the UTMs in, and it can mess up optimization. So it's better to just use UTMs from day one, and I'll explain that as we jump into the ad account. All right, so now we're inside of an ad account. This is an ad account that I use for training, so there's nothing in here. So we can then go ahead and set up a new campaign by hitting create. And then what this is gonna do is bring up the menu here. So we're gonna select sales always, and we're gonna hit continue, and we always wanna choose manual sales campaign. So switch it off of that onto manual sales campaign and hit continue. So now we're inside the actual campaign setup, and then this is where you can name your campaign. And I'm just gonna paste what I have in here. So we're gonna be using a men's boot for this example, and this is how I set up my name structures. I put the product, and then I put the campaign type. So we're gonna be running an ad set budget campaign, so ABO, and it's a testing campaign. And then I put in the country that we're running, so we're running USA in this campaign. And then I'm gonna put male 18 plus, because we're running a pair of men's boots, and you'll see how we set that up. And then our OG images, just so that we know which creatives that we're running. But it's really important to name your campaigns in a structured way that you know what you're looking at when you're looking at your campaigns, your ad sets, so on and so forth. And then next, we're gonna make sure that we turn off use a catalog. We're gonna actually put in our own creatives and direct the traffic to the specific URL that we want. And we're gonna leave advantage campaign budget turned off. So leave everything turned off here, A/B test turned off as well. And then we'll hit next. And then you'll see that we're inside the actual ad set section. So this is how you're gonna set it up. You're just gonna set your ad set name to the interests that we target, and you're gonna leave that for now until we decide which interests that we're going to be running. But you wanna leave your performance goal at maximum number of conversions. You're gonna select your pixel, and then you're gonna put the conversion event to purchase. Even if you haven't collected any purchases on the pixel or anything of that sort, you want to always be optimizing for purchases no matter what. And then you can leave this cost per result goal blank. And then in more options, you want to leave your attribution setting at 7-day click, 1-day view. And then you can leave these default as well. Okay, and then next we're going to leave dynamic creative turned off. And then you want to make sure that your budget is set at daily budget, not lifetime budget. So you can leave that default how it is. And then you can set up your budget to your daily spend. So this is how much you're going to spend per ad set. Now you can see that we're running 6 ad sets per campaign that we're testing. And this is totally up to you what you want to set your budget at, but I either set it at $10 a day or $20 a day. The only difference between that is that at $20 a day, you're gonna collect your data faster. You're still gonna use the same rules for when you're turning ad sets off, and we'll go more in depth on that in another video, but this is how you wanna set it up. So I'm gonna set it up at $10 a day for this example. Then I'm gonna set the start date to the next day at midnight. Everything that I do that I'm testing, I'm always setting to the next day so that everything testing is getting an even playing field. We're always scheduling for the next day to give it a full day of spend. Next, you're gonna set your locations. And again, we're running this to the United States. So we're gonna put in USA. And then once we've done that, we can scroll down to the actual targeting. So now Facebook is making it so that Advantage Plus audience is normally defaulted, but we're gonna actually switch to the original audience options. And then this is where we can actually get in depth with who we're gonna be targeting. So you're gonna leave your custom audience blank. That's what you use if you're retargeting or you're running lookalikes, which we're not doing here. We are going to actually move down and go to our age and gender. So the age you're leaving, 18 plus, so 18 to 65 plus. You don't want to change the age at all. You want Facebook to optimize that for you. Gender, this is where we're going to decide who we want to advertise to. So I want to get specific with this. If you're running a product that is direct to related to men, you're going to select men. If it's a product tailored towards women, you're going to run to women. But if you don't know, then you want to leave it all. And if you're not 100% sure, leave it to all. And then let Facebook optimize that for you. But we're running a men's boot in this example, so I'm gonna select men. Next thing, detailed targeting. This is where some people start to overthink things. You want to leave your detailed targeting to the interest that fits your product in the most common sense way possible when you're initially testing. So we're running a men's boot, so I'm going to see if an interest of boot or boots is available, and yes, this interest is available. So as you can see, that's as simple as you want to go, and you're gonna set up only one interest per ad set. So this is in the ad set level, we're gonna run one interest, and then in the other ad sets that we set up, we're gonna set up different interests. So you can leave this just with your one most common sense interest, and then you're gonna leave placements on auto placements. We're not selecting manual placements, we're letting Facebook optimize that now. So the next is we're gonna just take this name this interest here. We're gonna come up to the top and we're targeting United States, and then I'm gonna put my interest here. So I know that we're targeting this interest to the United States for this ad set. Then next, we're gonna jump into the actual ad level. All right, so now that we're inside the actual ad level, you can name your ad whatever you want, doesn't really matter. And then you're gonna put in your Facebook page and your Instagram page. Now, if you don't have an Instagram page already set up for your store, I'd suggest not putting an Instagram page in, because you can run all of your ads through one single Facebook page that's going to also put your ads on the placement of Instagram using your Facebook page. So you don't even need an Instagram page, and honestly, I don't run my stores with an Instagram page, especially in the very beginning. You can always add it or you can run it if you'd like, but it's not needed. So the next thing is that you're going to make sure this is set at create ad. You're going to go to manual upload, and you're going to run a single image. We're never running any collections, rarely running any carousels. It's always a single image or video depending on the product. And then you can leave the multi-advertiser ads on as recommended. There's no difference, so just leave it default. So in this section down here, this is where we're going to fill out and build out the ad. So in the ad media, this is where we're uploading our image or our video, and I'm going to put that in there, and then we can get into the next step. All right, so now I've gone ahead and added the image that I'm going to be using. So for this example, if this was the product that we were running, this is the image that I use. So this is a very clear image, showing off the product and effortlessly explains what the product is that's being advertised. So I thought this was a really great image to use. So you can leave that. Next, we're gonna go into the primary text, and this is where we're actually gonna put our ad copy that I talked about. And I'm just gonna go ahead and paste what I'd already wrote out for this example. All right, so here's the primary text and the ad copy that I used for this example, and I'll go through it. So it says, step into all-day comfort with upgraded interior cushioning, reinforced arch support, and a wearing experience that your feet deserve. So this was just an example that I wrote off the top of my head. And then next, I'm just putting this again for an example. You don't need to put in the 3 to 5 benefits, but just to show you guys how I would structure this. Upgraded cushioning soles for unmatched comfort, odor resistance to prevent smelly feet, maximum tread to grip on slippery surfaces. So just 3 core benefits that these specific boots definitely appeal to and provide to the customer. And again, if you're gonna put in emojis, you could put maybe an emoji that explains these benefits at the start. So I might put, a cloud explaining the comfort, the odor, maybe like a leaf to show that it's, fresh and clean. And then maximum grid on slippery surfaces. I might put, maybe like a snowflake or some ice just to show, that this is kind of what we're talking about. Again, a picture paints 1,000 words, so sometimes using those emojis can just kind of highlight what it is that you're explaining here. And then we've got our call to action, shop now to get 40% off while stock lasts. So added in a bit of urgency there. Again, this is just for an example purpose. If I was running a 40% off sale, that would be the offer, and this is the call to action that I would use. And then we're gonna go down to the headline. So again, I'm gonna use the main offer, get 40% off today, and just keep it simple so that you can see here on the actual ad itself, we've got the offer. And then next, we're gonna leave this description blank, and then Facebook will automatically populate a description from your feed link once you put it in, and you'll be able to see that once you've done that. And then we're gonna change this to shop now. And then down below, this is where you can put in your URL. So I don't have a URL obviously for this boot, but you would put in your product page URL. Leave this at none, and this is where we're gonna put in our URL parameters, which is our UTM tracking that I talked about before. And then you can just leave this default here for website events, and then you will have your pixel there. That's how you want to set up your ad. Keep it simple, keep it right to the point, and use these things in your ads that I've talked about here. This is how you're going to structure your ad. If you wanted to make a second one, you just duplicate it and then change out that image, and you keep the rest the same. But I'm going to show you for this example what I would do next is I would then duplicate this 5 times, and then this is where we can set up the different interests that we're going to test. So you'll see here that we've now got multiple different ad sets that we're going to scroll down and check out the interests. So we can scroll down to the different interests, and this is just what you're going to do. I'm not going to do this for the entire thing, but I'm going to see what other similar interests populate when I ask to get suggestions around that common sense interest. So we've got shoes in here. So the next thing that I'm going to put in is shoes. And then you can scroll back up and put that into your name, and then you can go on, so on and so forth, and put in one other common sense interest. And then once you've done that for all 6 of these, you can actually go ahead and duplicate that campaign. And then it's gonna keep all of these settings that you've put in duplicated into a second campaign. And then the only thing that you're gonna change in that is just your targeting for your location. So we're just gonna switch out USA and target worldwide. So I would duplicate that, but just to show you, for example here, if we scroll down to the actual locations, in the location section, this is where you can actually go and hit select all, and it's gonna bring up worldwide. And then the only exclusions that we're gonna run here are Brazil. And why we exclude Brazil is because Brazil has a high probability of bringing you high risk orders or fake tracking orders within your ad account. So I just exclude Brazil as a whole because it can screw up your optimization and your data, and that's just what I'm seeing right now. And then the other one is India. Typically India has really low quality traffic and brings a lot of potential window shoppers to your store. And again, if you're not dropshipping, you can set up different locations to target, but if you can ship worldwide, you might as well target worldwide, and that's part of this strategy, so that you're going to set up your exclusions and target all of the world. So now we're going to be targeting our one campaign to the United States, one campaign to all of the worldwide, excluding these exclusions, and then you're going to publish these for tomorrow at midnight, and you're going to set these up exactly how I show here, and this is how you're going to test every single product. Now, if you're wondering, what do I look at once I publish these campaigns, that's going to be in a completely separate video, so hang tight for that. But again, I just want to say, if you've got any value from this video at all, if you've learned anything, if you have got anything that you've taken away from this, I want to ask that you like this video down below. It helps me more than you know, get this out to more people, and help this channel grow. And then also subscribe to the channel to get more value bombs every single week like this that you can then implement into your own business. And if you want to take it a step further, again, I want to invite you to join our free Discord community down below. This is where you can get all of your questions answered every single day, on the day, so that we can help you go from where you are now and help take you to that next level and hit your goals. So there you have it, guys. This is the exact blueprint that I use to test products consistently and reliably, and how you can do it to use your budget in the most efficient way possible. No fluff, and exactly laid out how you need to be testing your products. So again, guys, if you got any value from this video, I want to just ask that you like this video and subscribe to this channel, as I'm giving away value like this every single week. And also, if you want to take it the next step and join our free Discord group down below, this is where you can get all of your questions answered every single day, no matter where you're at in your business, whether you're just starting or you want to take things to the next level and scale your products to the moon. So without any further ado, I'll see you in the next video.